7 spine-chilling neighbor horrors. Discover the sinister truths hiding next door. Emily's breath quickened as she drove home through the quiet streets of Maplewood, her mind racing with thoughts of her son Jake. Just a few more minutes, she whispered to herself, clutching the steering wheel like it could protect her from the chaos of her life. Shadows loomed larger than normal, stretching across the ground, twisting into grim shapes under the flickering street lamps, and the rustle of leaves sent icy fingers creeping up her spine. There had been whispers in the coffee shop, while she folded laundry at the laundromat, murmurs from neighbors sharing side glances. Talk of missing pets, strange noises echoing through the night. But that was just gossip, right? She shivered, dismissing the knot of worry tightening in her stomach. As she drove past Mr. Collins' modest home, the man himself loomed in the yard, standing still as a statue. His weary eyes met hers, the glint in them unnerving against the backdrop of the night. Emily flinched, her heart slamming against her ribs. The once cheerful laughter of children frolicking outside, now replaced by dark tales of disappearances, hung heavy in the air like a dark cloud. And she couldn't shake the feeling that something wasn't right. The unease followed her inside. Jake was asleep, blissfully unaware of the ghosts that stalked the neighborhood. Just as she finally began to relax, a scratching sound jolted her from the couch. Her heart raced. It was just a cat, right? She took a deep breath, convincing herself to ignore the nagging thoughts of what lay beyond her front door. But then the lights flickered, plunging the room into darkness for a heartbeat that felt like an eternity. The next day, after a grueling shift at the diner, she stumbled upon old newspaper clippings in the library about children who had vanished years ago in Maplewood. Each story like a weight on her chest, each face staring blankly back at her, pleading for someone to remember. She found herself glancing at Mr. Collins more closely, whispering her worries to neighbors only to be met with skepticism. He's a war hero, they'd laugh. But even heroes can harbor secrets. Then came the worst moment of all. Jake went for a play date at Mr. Collins' house, a seemingly innocent outing. But when it ran longer than expected, dread coiled tight in her gut. Frantic knocking against Mr. Collins' door echoed against her rising panic, her voice trembling as she called his name. He finally appeared, calm and collected, saying Jake was just fine. Yet an intensity in Collins' eyes chilled her, gripping her heart in a vice. Emily felt everything unravel when she reached out for help. The police dismissed her fears, just a worried mother, they said. As the shadows closed in around her, she could no longer separate paranoia from the creeping dread consuming her. Before we continue, I need to tell you something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to their system, and many people are missing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, click the bell and select all notifications so you don't miss future videos. And if you can leave a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now, let's continue. Determined not to let fear win, she dove deeper into Maplewood's dark folklore. Tales of a guardian spirit turned malevolent emerged. Legends spoke of kids unmonitored being claimed by something sinister lurking at the edges of her beloved neighborhood. Each revelation stripped away the trust she had sown into her little community, revealing an unsettling reality. And as Emily faced the mirror of her own paranoia, one question remained: what had Maplewood become? Emily's skin prickled as she darted around the streets of Maplewood, the weight of unspoken fears clinging to her like a shroud. Her heart was racing. What if Jake was still at Mr. Collins' house? What if he was not safe? Panic spiraled inside her mind, twisting her thoughts into dark knots as she closed the distance between her and home. She burst through the door, breathless. The house felt unnaturally quiet. "Jake?" she called, her voice quivering. No answer. Each second stretched, ticking away her sanity. Fear clawed at her chest. Then a soft thud echoed from the kitchen. Cautiously she approached, every creak of the floorboards sounding like a thunderous racket in the deafening silence. Peeking around the corner, she saw that the pantry door hung ajar. Shadows flickered in the dim light, dancing ominously on the walls. "Jake?" she called again, her voice barely above a whisper. A wave of nausea rolled over her as she crossed the threshold. The pantry smelled of something rancid, and within she saw remnants of torn-up packaging, snack wrappers mixed with tiny, faded photographs sprawled across the floor. She crouched to peer closer, her heart crashing into her throat. There, wedged between the jars, was a photo of a blonde-haired child, smiling. But something was off. The child bore an uncanny resemblance to Jake. Despair washed over her as chills swept down her spine. Just then, a sharp laugh interrupted her thoughts, reverberating from the living room. It wasn't Jake's laugh. It was a low, haunting cackle, echoing with malice. Emily's blood ran cold. She pivoted swiftly, adrenaline surging. What was happening? With dread fueling her, she stepped into the living room, her heart beating in her ears. The entire space felt alive with a strange energy. Furniture sat unnaturally still, shadows stretching grotesquely in the half-light. Suddenly, Emily froze as she spotted Mr. Collins through the back window, standing outside, staring blankly into her home, unblinking. His presence sent a bolt of terror through her. She stumbled back, bumping into the wall, her breath quickening again. She needed to get out, needed to protect.
"Jake!" A sudden crash echoed from upstairs, breaking her paralysis. She rushed toward the sound, each step feeling like a descent into a nightmare. Rounding the corner, she flew up the staircase, heart pounding, pulse racing. She reached Jake's room, flinging the door open. Inside, the room was an eerie, tranquil calm, clean and untouched. The bed was made, but Jake was nowhere in sight. Panic surged as she spun around, searching for anything that might hint at where he had gone. A whisper, soft but chilling, drifted through the air, wrapping itself around her like a vice. "Mommy?" "Jake!" Her voice tore through the silence. Following the sound, she bolted to the window, pulling it open. The night breeze greeted her with a cold slap. Below, an unexpected sight froze her in place. Jake stood in the yard, his face illuminated by the full moon, but he wasn't alone. Something malevolent loomed behind him, a dark figure that twisted and writhed like smoke, reaching towards her son with phantom fingers. "Jake!" Panic erupted as she scrambled to the window, but the figure turned its gaze toward her, eyes glowing with an unnatural light. Emily recoiled, terror coursing through her body as she felt the air grow heavy. "Mommy." The creature's voice drifted like honey, sweet yet sinister, and once more it took a step closer to Jake. Every rational thought fled as primal fear seized her. She couldn't let this happen. "Stay right there, Jake! Don't move!" she screamed. But her words were swallowed by the night. As Emily prepared to sprint downstairs, she felt a chilling presence behind her that made her freeze. Someone, or something, was there. The whisper returned, filling her ears. "You should have listened." Heart racing, she turned around slowly, the room darkening around her as an insidious figure began to materialize from the shadows. Its smile stretched too wide, revealing teeth sharper than any blade. Now it's too late. What had Maplewood truly become? Each breath felt heavier as fear curled around her heart, squeezing tighter. But just as she thought there was no escape, a different noise rang out. The soft creaking of the front door. Who was stepping inside? Was it help, or yet another horror? The door creaked wider, and Emily's heart pounded like a trapped bird in her chest. The dark figure behind her, still materializing from the shadows, seemed to sense the sudden shift in the air. "So eager for company," it whispered, its voice sending icy tendrils down her spine. Emily's body moved before her mind could catch up. She rushed for the window again, desperate to call out to Jake. But the sight below stole her breath. Jake remained frozen, oblivious to the creeping darkness behind him. "Come on, Jake, move!" She could see the shadow's fingers stretching out, inching closer. With a jolt, the basement door swung open, making a thudding sound that demanded attention. That creak was deeper, darker. Someone, or something, was moving, with heavy footsteps echoing as they made their way up the stairs. "Mommy, where are you?" Jake's voice was distant, barely more than a whisper. A lump formed in her throat. How could he be so unaware of the looming threat? "Jake, get inside, now!" she yelled, her voice raw from fear. The shadow paused, sensing her desperation, its smile widening like a knife slashing through silence. The footsteps continued to grow louder, heavy and deliberate, as if the newcomer was savoring each moment of anticipation. Emily's mind raced. Who was coming in? Was it Mr. Collins or something worse? "Mommy." The word was a beacon of innocence. "Jake!" The urgency in her voice felt foreign as she fought to remain composed. She couldn't let him hear the tremor that threatened to betray her. The basement door creaked again, the hinges wailing mournfully. "Where are you going?" the figure behind her mused. It was unbearably close now, and a cold breath grazed the back of her neck. She spun to confront it, and for a split second, everything felt suspended, as if time itself had recognized the danger. Then, out of the corner of her eye, she saw a flash of motion. A figure emerged from the darkness of the basement. Tall and gaunt, it seemed to glide rather than walk. The dim light caught the contours of its face, revealing sunken cheeks and hollow eyes that gleamed with malice. "Playtime is better with company," it hissed, its breath sickeningly sweet, like rotting fruit. Emily's instincts kicked in, and she lunged forward. "Jake!" She rushed away from the window towards the staircase, desperate to reach him. She had to get him away from that thing, had to. Behind her, the figure laughed again, cruel and joyful, as if reveling in her terror. "You can't escape from what is already here." Emily's fingers grazed the banister, pushing her into motion. But as she reached the top of the stairs, something cold wrapped around her ankle, tugging her back. She stumbled, falling hard against the floor, pain shooting up her side. The sinister laugh grew louder. "Stay, play, forever." Gritting her teeth, she fought against whatever had her pinned and pushed herself up, attacking the shadows with sheer rage. In a frantic scramble, she turned to see Jake still standing in the moonlight, with the dark figure inching closer. "Jake, come to me, now!" But he remained still, entranced by the creature's long fingers reaching out. "No, no!" Then the basement door crashed open entirely, and the final figure that came rushing in was decidedly human. Tall, broad-shouldered, and wearing a familiar coat. Mr. Collins. His icy stare locked onto Emily, and for a moment, the world quieted. Was he here to save them, or had he come with terrifying intent? As Mr. Collins raised an arm slowly, the sinister shadows seemed to retreat, cowering from him. Yet, in their withdrawal, they revealed something horrifying. Behind him, another dark figure, more twisted than the last. With empty eyes and fangs like daggers glinting in the moonlight. What "What is happening?" Emily gasped, dread coursing through her veins as the figure advanced. In that moment, she felt it, the weight of inevitability. The horror was far from over. How could she protect Jake when the darkness was all around them? And what was Mr. Collins really hiding? As the darkness loomed closer, Emily's mind raced with only one question. Who could she trust anymore? The room pulsed with tension, shadows breathing like living things. Mr. Collins held his ground, but his expression was laced with something that unsettled Emily even more than the figures lurking by the stairs. He looked as if he were battling an invisible force. Behind him, the twisted creature crept forward, its gaze locking onto Jake. The sickening sweetness of its breath wafted into the air, wrapping around Emily like a noose of dread. "Come to me, little one," it crooned. It reached out, elongated fingers stretching impossibly far. "Jake, don't, please!" Emily screamed, her voice cracking under the pressure of fear. But Jake stood still, caught in the creature's haunting lullaby, as if entranced by a dark magic. Mr. Collins suddenly lunged, stepping between Jake and the advancing figure. "Stay back!" his voice thundered, coarse and primal. He raised an arm, but Jake's gaze remained locked on the monster, utterly oblivious. "Jake!" Emily's heart raced. She had to snap him out of it. She rushed forward, struggling to break through the chaotic energy that enveloped them. But the gaunt figure at the base of the staircase whispered sweetly, "It's just playtime. You like to play, don't you?" And with that, it lunged forward. Mr. Collins swung at it, but the shadows flickered around them, weaving in and out like threads in a dark tapestry. The room felt alive and suffocating. Emily's desperation turned to fury. "Jake, look at me!" She pushed past Mr. Collins and grabbed Jake's shoulder, shaking him roughly. "You have to fight! Don't listen to it!" In a heartbeat, something shifted. The mist around them seemed to waver, and Jake blinked rapidly, his eyes narrowing as if waking from a vivid dream. "Mommy?" His voice was small, and in that instant of clarity, a flitter of fear sparkled in his eyes. "Yes, it's me. You have to come with me." She pulled him towards her. Then the twisted figure hissed, revealing crude, jagged teeth. "No, he belongs to us now." Its voice slithered through the air, taut with menace. "Get back!" Mr. Collins shouted. His eyes burned with urgency, darting back and forth, evaluating his options. "Emily, you need to trust me." "Trust you?" That spark of doubt flared within her. Only moments ago, he had been just as intimidating as the shadows that surrounded them. But before she could finish, the dark figures surged forward, hungry and chaotic. The room spun, drenched in shadows, creating a whirlwind of agony and despair. Emily felt her breath catch, panic tightening around her throat. In an explosive flash, Mr. Collins lunged again, grabbing Jake, pulling him to the side, just as the monstrous hand swiped where he had stood. The force knocked the breath from Emily's lungs. "Out, now!" He pushed them towards the hallway leading to safety. As they stumbled, the shadows screamed, a cacophony of rage and hunger enveloping them. "You can't escape," they wailed, voices layered in overlapping terror. Emily tightened her grip on Jake's hand and rushed forward. Her mind raced with the urgency to flee. The hallway loomed ahead, a dim light flickering at its end, offering a sliver of hope. "Follow me!" she shouted, pulling Jake along. But even as they turned towards the light, she could feel the darkness closing in behind them, pressing against her back like a physical weight. "Don't look back," Mr. Collins barked, his voice steady, guiding. As they sprinted through the hallway, the dim light pulsed like a heartbeat, the shadows pulling them back, hungry for chaos. But Emily couldn't help it. She glanced back. What she saw stopped her in her tracks. The twisted figure had melted into the darkness, but its laughter echoed in the space, chilling her to the core. "You can't run from family." Emily turned back towards the light, her pulse drumming in her ears. They stumbled closer, the shadows breathing down their necks. But Mrs. Collins? What other secrets did he hide? Would they make it out, or would the darkness consume them forever? They dashed forward, knowing the answers lay just beyond the light. The moment they broke free from the hallway, Emily's lungs filled with the stale air of the house's entrance. The faint light struggled against the heavy shadows that clung to the walls, casting grotesque shapes that flickered with every heartbeat. They'd made it out of that cursed room, but what lay beyond felt almost worse. Mr. Collins shoved the door closed behind them, sealing away the horrors they had narrowly escaped. The echo of the door slamming reverberated through the space, but no fear-driven relief followed. Instead, a chilling silence settled, thick and oppressive, as if the house was holding its breath, waiting for something unseen. "Emily, listen," Mr. Collins hissed, eyes darting around. "They know we're out here. We don't have much time." His expression was taut, a wire pulled to its limits. "What do you mean, they know?" She could barely speak. Jake was shaking beside her, his innocence threatened by shadows he couldn't understand. "We just have to get out. We need to leave this place." "No, you can't just leave. If we run, they'll come for you both. They want to draw you back, to trap you in the darkness." His voice trembled, but it was more than just fear. It was desperation, a plea for understanding. Emily felt a chill crawl down her spine. "Then what do you suggest we do?" "We need to find Mrs. Collins," he said, gripping her shoulders. Towards the exit, wondering if any door could truly lead them to safety. They tore through the entrance, but the moment was fleeting. The air outside felt like a cruel joke, cool against their faces, yet heavy with an unshakable dread. Emily's heart raced as she glanced over her shoulder. The house loomed behind them, dark and insatiable, like a massive predator waiting for its prey to return. "Keep moving," Mr. Collins urged, pulling Jake closer. Each step felt like running on glass, sharp and painful. The path ahead twisted through the overgrown yard, but the cemetery of shadows from the house clung to them like lingering smoke. Emily could hear Mrs. Collins's voice, sweet and deceitful, calling out into the night. "You can't hide from family." "What are we going to do?" Jake whimpered, a tremor in his voice that clawed at Emily's heart. He was just a child. How could she protect him from something that felt like a nightmare come to life? "We need to find help," Mr. Collins said, eyes ahead, scanning the darkened street. "There's an old spot, a safe place. Just follow me." "Safe?" Emily echoed, panic tightening like a vice around her chest. "What do you mean? Do you even know where we're going?" Mr. Collins's jaw clenched as he led them past the withered hedges bordering their neighbor's yard. Every rustle, every creak made her skin crawl. "I know the area, but we can't trust anyone, not now." The street lamp flickered, casting a ghostly glow, and the darkness seemed to breathe around them. Emily felt the pull of shadows still whispering, yearning to reclaim her. "We can't let her, whatever that was, get us," she murmured, clenching Jake's hand tighter. Suddenly, just as they turned the corner onto a gravel path, a loud crash shattered the little hope they held. A figure stumbled out from the shadows, tripping over a stone, landing hard in front of them. Emily gasped as recognition crept in. Mark? It was their neighbor from 2 doors down. His face was smeared with dirt, and his eyes were wide with terror. You have to help me. They're coming." "What do you mean?" Mr. Collins asked, eyes darting around. "Who's coming?" "The ones from the house," he shouted, voice breaking. "They've taken over the neighborhood. Everyone is... Emily could hardly breathe as chills racked her body. "What are you saying, Mark? They're controlling us. We need to get out, now." His voice rose in panic. "I barely escaped their grasp." The shadows began to swirl around them, thickening, and Emily could feel the pressure building in her chest. "No," she cried, backing away, pulling Jake closer. "They're not—" At that moment, the air thickened with a palpable weight. A cold wind whipped through, carrying with it whispers that played with her mind, filling it with doubt and fear. "You can't resist," they seemed to taunt. "Mark, what do we do?" Mr. Collins pressed, urgency and fear blending in his voice. "We have to go to the old well," Mark gasped, eyes darting. "It's the last place they can't control." Emily hesitated. Was that a safe haven or just another trap? "But we—" "Now, Emily," Mr. Collins commanded, his voice like steel. "We have no choice." And with that, they bolted back down the street, the shadows thickening behind them, a dark tide ready to engulf them once more. Emily's thoughts raced. What lay at the end of this path? Could they truly escape? Or were they simply running deeper into the jaws of madness? The sound of their footsteps echoed through the chilling air as they approached the edge of the woods, where shadows stretched and beckoned. Would he find the old well? Would it lead to salvation, or to something worse? They plunged into the darkness, the weight of choices pressing down like a suffocating shadow, unaware of what awaited them in the gloom. The trees loomed around them, gnarled and warped, their branches clawing at the starless sky like skeletal fingers. Emily stumbled forward, each desperate breath feeling heavier than the last. The whispers grew louder, a chorus of anguish threading through the night, mixing with the rustle of leaves. "We have to hurry," Mark gasped, urgency washing over his face as they pressed deeper into the woods. Mr. Collins tugged Jake along, but his grip was loosening, as if the shadows were reaching for him. Emily shot a look at Mr. Collins, and his eyes darkened with worry. He was strong, but even he felt the weight of the darkness around them. They were running, but the forest felt like it was closing in, tightening its grip. "Is the well far?" Jake asked, his small voice trembling. "Just a bit further," Mark replied, glancing back as if something might be lurking just out of sight. "It's hidden under the old sycamore tree. We need to get there before they catch up." The path narrowed, roots snagging at their feet, making them stumble. Emily's heart hammered loud in her chest, each thud a painful reminder of their situation. The air turned icy, sending shivers racing down her spine. She didn't want to look back, but an instinct drew her gaze. Her heart sank. Emerging from the darkness was a figure draped in shadows, hauntingly familiar. It was Mrs. Collins. Her eyes glowed like coals in the darkness, a twisted grin plastered on her face. "You can't escape us, Emily," she whispered, voice dripping with malice. "Family always finds their way home." "Run!" Mr. Collins shouted, and they surged ahead. But Emily could hear the laughter. It echoed through the trees, chilling her to the bone. With renewed fear fueling her, she pressed on, but the whispers moaned louder. "You're ours," they taunted, probing at the edges of her sanity. The ground seemed to shift beneath her, alive and hungry, wanting to swallow them whole. Finally, they reached the clearing, and there stood the old sycamore. Its thick trunk twisted toward the sky, a weathered sentinel in the haunted night. "There!" Mark yelled, pointing to a sludgy hole at the base. They rushed toward it, but Emily hesitated for just a second. Was this the salvation they sought, or some kind of trap? Jake tugged at her hand, fear glistening in his wide eyes. "Please, Emily, we have to." Mr. Collins peered into the hole, his face drawn tight. "We don't have time for doubts. In," he urged, voice shaking but resolute. Heart racing, she could feel the shadows creeping closer, the weight of Mrs. Collins's laughter pressing down on them. They had to make a choice. Would they descend into the unknown, or stand and face whatever darkness loomed behind? "Go!" Mr. Collins shouted, breaking her trance. And without another thought, she dove into the hole. The chill swallowed her, dragging her into the depths. A scream ripped from her throat as they tumbled into darkness. They fell and fell. The sound of laughter faded, replaced by an eerie silence that enveloped them. Emily braced herself for a hard landing, but when they touched down, it was soft, like sinking into damp earth. Murky water pooled around her, the rancid smell choking her. "Jake," she gasped, scrambling to her feet. "Are you okay?" The darkness felt thick and suffocating. She couldn't see his face, only hear his frantic breaths. "I'm here. What is this place?" "I don't know," Emily admitted, panic bubbling in her chest. "But we have to stick together." Suddenly, movement caught her eye. Shapes emerged from the shadows, pale faces contorted in anguish, their mouths opening in silent screams as they hovered toward them. The dampness pressed against her skin, and a paralyzing dread settled like a stone in her stomach. "Run!" she shouted, her voice slicing through the gloom. But as shadows twisted around them, she realized the depths were alive. What awaited them in these haunted depths? Would they ever find a way out, or were they destined to join the tortured souls that linger in the dark? Emily's heart raced as she registered the pale faces emerging from the shadows. They were mere wraiths, slipping through the mists like forgotten echoes, their anguished expressions twisting into grotesque parodies of fear. "We have to move," she shouted again, her voice barely piercing the heavy silence around them. Water sucked at her feet with every frantic step. The place reeked of decay, as if it had been abandoned for decades, holding on to secrets better left buried. Emily turned to Jake, who was shaking, his small frame nearly swallowed by the gloom. "Solid ground," she managed to choke out, fighting the dread that clutched at her throat. They stumbled backward, trying to escape the phantoms creeping closer. But the space felt constricted, almost alive, tightening like a noose around them. Mr. Collins was beside her, his eyes wide, scanning the darkness. "Where do we go?" he murmured, voice trembling. "Follow me," Mark urged, his face pale, but determination still alive in his gaze. He plunged deeper into the darkness, leading them away from the rising, mournful cries. Emily gripped Jake's hand tighter, not daring to let go. Together they maneuvered through the marshy expanse, ducking under low-hanging limbs that dripped with moisture. The air grew colder and heavier, a weight of despair pressing down on her as if the darkness was trying to wrap its fingers around their throats. They rounded a corner, and suddenly the ground beneath them dropped. Emily barely managed to catch herself, stumbling onto what felt like a damp stone floor. "Mark!" she yelled, hoping he'd realized as well. He halted. "This way!" He pointed to a passageway shimmering faintly in the dark. The light, a ghostly greenish glow, beckoned them forward. But as they rushed toward it, the whispers returned, relentless, chilling, clawing at her mind. "Turn back, stay with us." Each step toward the light felt like a betrayal, tugging at something deep within her. What did she want? The glow of escape, or the embrace of those beyond? She shook her head violently, pushing the thoughts aside. "This way," she repeated, almost pleading. In a frenzy, they rushed toward the light. Just as they reached it, the voices crescendoed, distorting through a cacophony of torment. Faces began to emerge from the shadows, swirling around the light, grasping, reaching. Each face screamed its own story of despair, drowning out all thoughts of escape. "Join us! Join us!" Emily froze, ensnared in the moment. The glowing light felt inviting, but surrounded by the lost souls, it seemed like a cruel trick. "No!" She stepped back, panic bubbling again. Behind her, she felt the ground shudder. Something was coming, pushing closer. She could almost feel its breath, a dark, scraping presence crawling up her spine. "We have to go!" she screamed, lunging forward towards the light as it flickered, threatening to extinguish under the mounting pressure of the approaching darkness. But the moment she stepped into that glow, everything changed. The air thickened, the brightness swallowed her vision, and she heard a low growl resonate deep beneath the surface. Each heartbeat echoed dread, each breath a struggle. "Emily?" Jake's voice wobbled beside her. "What's happening?" And just like that, the light dimmed, pulsating. Suddenly, the world around them warped, and Emily realized this was no exit. This was a new beginning of terror. She could feel it closing in with a sinister purpose, tightening like a coiling snake. "Run!" a voice shouted, pulling her back into reality. But who had said it? The boundaries of the known and the unimaginable twisted around her. What horror had they fallen into? Would the depths themselves seize them in an inescapable grasp? In that uncertainty, dread hung in the air, heavy and oppressive, as they waited for the abyss to swallow them whole. Just then, an echo stirred behind them, rising above the moans, a chilling laugh that sang, "You can never escape us." Emily's stomach dropped. They were not alone in this hell. What awaited them in the dark? What might they be forced to confront? The darkness pulsated around them, an entity hungry and alive. Emily felt the overwhelming urge to scream, but the sound was trapped somewhere deep inside her. Cold vapors seeped into her skin, snaking through every crevice of her being. She could feel Jake's hand trembling in hers, his small fingers slipping slightly as the terror tightened its grip. "Go back!" Mark managed, his voice cracking, drowning under the chaos swirling around them. "Get out while you can!" The green glow dimmed further, casting eerie shadows that leered menacingly. Emily turned to find Mr. Collins, his face strained, sweat pooling at his temples. "What do we do?" he stuttered, his bravado clearly worn thin. She wanted to offer comfort, but panic clawed at her throat, stealing her words. We need to find a way out," she finally whispered, each breath feeling heavy, as if trying to escape the dire situation. Another fog-laden laugh echoed, scratching against the walls of her mind. Each note gripped her heart tighter, constricting it like a python. "You'll never find it," it crooned, the voice a twisted mockery. "You belong here now." The shadows grew thicker, swirling around them like a living nightmare. Emily darted her eyes around, seeking something, anything, that might guide them to safety. But the wraith-like forms closed in, their translucent bodies flickering in and out of existence, begging for release. "Stop it!" she shouted, clenching Jake's hand fiercely. "We have to keep moving!" The moment they turned to flee, the whispers shifted to screams. "Stay with us! Join us!" The voices melded together, a cacophony of despair and longing. Each anguished cry threatened to pull her under, dragging her into the darkness. Mark stumbled, revealing the slippery ground beneath them. It was not solid stone. It was something else, a viscous substance that seemed to possess its own pulse. Emily wanted to scream again as she felt it cling to her shoes, making every step a laborious task against the weight of despair that pressed down on her. "Forward!" she shouted again, desperation fueling her movement as she towed Jake behind her. The passage narrowed, the air heavy and suffocating. The last flickers of the green light dimmed, leaving shadows to stretch longer, clawing at their resolve.
Then, without warning, a chilling figure emerged in front of them, its features indistinct, blending into the very fabric of the dark. It stood there, silent and patient, eyes like black holes promising nothing but anguish. Emily stopped, the ground quaking beneath her as the entity seemed to draw even closer. What do you want?" she stammered, feeling Jake's grip tighten even more. The entity leaned forward, causing a wave of rancid air to wash over her, thick with hopelessness. "Your souls are ours," it hissed, the voice dripping with malice. "Your pain, your fear, it nourishes us." Without thinking, Emily turned, dragging Jake and Mark with her, shooting down
the passageway. Joy was no longer possible. Survival was the only option. But with every frantic beat of her heart, the whispers blared in her head, relentless. "Flee if you must, but this place loves you, and it will have you." With a sudden roar, a wall of shadows surged forward, engulfing them in an icy blast, darkness swallowing all light. Emily felt the abyss clawing at her mind, preying on her fear. Each stride felt heavier, as if the very ground sought to pull her into an eternal void. And as the shadows crashed against them, Jake screamed, one high, piercing sound that shattered the oppressive gloom. "Emily!" Suddenly, she caught sight of another passage breaking through the wall of darkness, a flicker of light at its end. Was it real? Was it hope or another trick? Her heart hammered in her chest as she made a split-second decision. "This way!" she shouted at the top of her lungs, and with renewed urgency, they barreled toward the brightening escape. But the shadows chased them relentlessly, and just as they reached the threshold, a cold hand snatched at Emily's ankle, dragging her back into the depths. "Emily!" Jake cried, his fingers sliding from hers. As she clawed at the ground, terror surged through her veins. Would she be lost forever in darkness? What awaited them behind that remaining door of light? The shadows bore down, and Emily could only scream. Emily's scream pierced the air, desperate and raw, as she felt the shadows tightening their grip. The darkness pulled at her, whispering sweet promises of despair. But she wasn't ready to give in, not yet. Summoning every ounce of strength, she kicked her foot free, wrenching herself away from that chilling hand. "Jake! Mark!" she shouted, adrenaline flooding her limbs as she lunged toward the flickering light. The shadows whipped around her, furious, clawing at her back with icy fingers. "Mommy!" Jake's small voice broke through her panic, filling her with resolve. She could not let them take him. She would fight. The two of them staggered forward, the glow before them brightening, pulling them closer. Mark followed, his face drawn but determined. They could see clarity ahead, a way out of this nightmare. "Just a little more!" she shouted, pushing forward, even as the shadows writhed behind them, raging, yearning for revenge. But as they neared the light, it flickered violently, as if it too were being tugged by the dark. "Hurry!" Mark urged, his voice sharp against the backdrop of chaos. With a final push, they burst through the threshold, tumbling into a bright clearing. As they fell onto soft grass, the shadows recoiled, shrieking in anguish as the light surged around them, brilliantly pure and warm. Emily blinked against the brightness, disoriented but alive. She looked around, realizing they were in the local park, the familiar sights welcoming and warm against her awareness of the horrors they had just escaped. Jake lay beside her, staring wide-eyed at the night sky. "Mommy, are we safe?" he breathed shakily. "Yes, we are," Emily promised, pulling him close, her heart still racing. But as she looked around, worry gnawed at her stomach. Had they truly escaped? Mark crawled over, breaths coming in quick pants. "They can't come out here, right?" he asked, uncertainty clouding his brown eyes. "I think they're bound by the darkness of that place," Emily replied, hope flickering cautiously to life. "But we can't stay here long. We need to tell everyone, warn them." "That's the thing." Mark's face morphed into deep contemplation. "If they're connected to that house, it could affect everyone in Maplewood." "Then we have to gather everyone." Emily's pulse quickened with a newfound urgency. "We need to protect this town from whatever evil dwells within those shadows." Just then, a loud thud echoed from behind them. They turned, fear gripping them again. But this time, it was Mr. Collins who stepped into the clearing, moonlight casting him as a tall, dark figure lining up against the backdrop of the park. "Are you all right?" he asked, eyes darting, clearly still shaken. "We thought," Emily began, but he waved her off, face pale. "I know. I'm sorry," he breathed heavily, tension still visible in his rigid posture. "Sorry for what?" she demanded. "Don't say you're here because of what happened." "I was a part of it," he admitted. "I stood by, thinking I could control it. I didn't realize it had taken over until it was almost too late." "But you helped us get out," Jake piped up, hope spilling from his innocent lips. "Yes, but I can't go back. It will only drag me back in," Mr. Collins admitted, sadness clouding his gaze. "I'm bound to the darkness in that house. It's my past." Emily stepped closer to him, her heart heavy with understanding. "Then let us help you. We can fight it together," she offered. "No," he said, shaking his head as shadows danced at the edges of the park. "You can't save me. I chose to let it take the light from my life. It won't be that easy to take me back into the light." The darkness thinned at the edges of the clearing, like fog beneath a fierce wind. But Emily knew that she couldn't afford to give up on him. "You deserve a second chance," she pleaded, eyes fierce with empathy. "We all do." The space between them throbbed lightly with tension. He hesitated, and for the first time, she saw a flicker of hope born anew in his eyes, warring with the void that lurked behind them. But the darkness would not let go easily. A creeping mist surged back towards the park, whispering, reaching. "You cannot run," it chanted, the familiar voices blending into a haunting symphony. "You belong to us. You are family." Emily clutched Jake closer, fear clawing up her throat again. "Let them go! They aren't yours!" she shouted, drawing strength from Jake's presence. Suddenly, the park began to hum. The roots of trees twisted slightly, as if aligning themselves with Emily's fierce resolve. She could feel the strength surging inside her, feeling her connection to Maplewood, her town, her people. With renewed courage, she turned to Mr. Collins. "Join us," she urged, reaching out her hand. "Fight back with us." In that moment, it happened, a breaking through the despair. The shadows recoiled slightly, and within that flicker of chaos, a chorus of determination soared. Mr. Collins looked from Emily to Jake and back. "Together?" he asked, pain marking his voice. "Yes, we fight together," Emily affirmed, shoving the fear aside. "All of us!" Mark shouted with fervor, the fire ignited in him. As they joined hands, Emily felt it, a radiant wave of light pulsating through the very earth beneath them. The dark figures hesitated, straining against the powerful unity formed by their shared hope. What's happening?" Mr. Collins gasped, scanning the perimeter of dark creeping along that boundary. The buzzing grew louder. Emily could almost hear the voices of their town, of family and friends, bubbling with life and the desire for freedom. "Let's push against it, together," she urged, each breath pulling them tighter. As their hands clasped tighter, glowing energy erupted from their connection, crashing against the shadows like waves against rocky cliffs. The dark shrieks faded as the deep-seated bonds rose up, reclaiming the space that had been threatened.
Family means protecting one another, even from the darkness, Emily declared, anchoring them all in that core truth. With one last surge, the darkness receded with a pierced howl, retreating beyond the borders of the park, dissipating in an explosion of sparks and ash. The air grew still. As silence wrapped around them whispering affirmations, they emerged from the weight of fear. Emily turned to Mr. Collins, who stood with tears in his eyes, breathing deeply as though he had just awoken. "Thank you," she breathed, feeling the warmth of hope resonating between them. Jake looked up at her, wide-eyed with admiration. "Did we do it, Mommy?" "Yes, sweetheart," Emily smiled, pulling him close at last, a shudder of relief rushing through her. "Together," Mark echoed, radiating the energy of survival. They stood united against the night, a family bound not just by fear, but by shared warmth emanating from their hearts. The shadows would haunt Maplewood no more. This thread had been broken. And as dawn broke over the horizon, they stepped forward, leaving darkness behind. The nightmare was finally over. Thank you for supporting the journey through Maplewood. If this story resonated with you, subscribe immediately to the channel so you don't miss the next exclusive stories. Smash that like button now to feed the algorithm and keep the dark tales alive. Flood the comments section with your reactions and theories about Jake, Emily, and Mr. Collins. Your insights matter. Don't wait even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this conclusion. Each action helps keep this community thriving. Only true fans understand the importance of supporting the channel through these actions.